Folks, it's been a hell of a long time since I've made a reply video to one of my favorite YouTube channels, King Richez. King Richez, if you're watching, you killed me last night when you talked about, well, yeah, when I watched your video last night, you uploaded it about a month ago, when you talk about black men walking around with ducks. Now, for the benefit of those who don't know what he means, he talked about women of below average looks. Now, though I relate to a lot of things what you said, and there's validity in a lot of your points, however, I think that you are overlooking a few things, and these are the things I want to point out what you're overlooking. Point number one, not every man can get a woman, let alone a beautiful woman. There's going to be a section of men, regardless of their color, but let's talk about black men, that's what we talked about, who will never have a 7, 8, 9 out of 10. It's just how the ball bounces, G, as Flavor Flav said in Public Enemy in the late 80s, right? So, kudos to you that you could get 8, 9 and 10. Yeah, I don't do too badly myself, but that's neither here or there. Just because we can doesn't mean everybody else can, right? And that's where I think you're overlooking. You're not considering, well, it's not the same. It's not the same for every man. It really isn't. Okay. Point number two, as much as you crap me up when you talk about men walking around with ducks and they should have standards. Okay. Point number two, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. There's women that I wouldn't go for that I see men with. And I suppose in terms of my taste, there's women that I would go for that other men and you wouldn't go for, which I will come to in a second. But at the end of the day, we cannot tell people who they should and shouldn't be attracted to. We just cannot, because not everyone has the same sex drive. Not everyone has the same sexuality. Not everyone has the same taste. We cannot project our standards or our taste onto other people. Live and let love. I mean, for example, I'll give you an example what I mean. Now, I'm into the thick, or what I call curvy fat. I'm into curvy fat. Is that clear? Is that? Hold on, let me come a bit closer. I think that's about. Hold on. There. That's better. I'm into curvy fat. So look, she's got thick thighs, big ass, big tits, chunky arms. I like, that's like my ideal build, right? It's not the only build I go for, but my ideal would be like size 14. To a size 16, possibly 18, but that kind of ball. But that's my ideal. Not the only thing I go for, that's my ideal. But it wouldn't be your cup of tea or another man's cup of tea, but no one could tell me who I should be attracted to. That's what turns me on. That's what turns me on. And so just to burst Kevin Samuel's theory about give a man millions and you see the woman he'd want to be with, I disagree. I'd say, if you want to see what the man would really, what he's really into, okay, give him millions, he may just appear with what he would rather be seen with in public, in some guy's case. But if you want to know what a man is really into, I say look at his porn collection. What does he watch on porn? Because you don't need millions to download the porn that you like. Okay, so at the end of the day, you can't tell people who they should and shouldn't be attracted to. Right, brings me to point number 3. When you talk about white people judge black people as a collective instead of individual. So let's say not only white people do it, Asians, South Asian, Far East, Arabs and Latinos. Let's say the whole world judges us as a collective instead of individuals. My answer to that is that's their problem. They're the ones at fault. They're the ones who's fucking up by doing that, right? And it doesn't make it right. Just because the majority of them will do that, it doesn't make it right. Once upon a time, the majority of white Europeans thought that the transatlantic slave trade was cool. They thought it was okay, but that did not make it right. So the best I can suggest is, if it really bothers you about the perception we have in the eyes of the world, just be the best example you can. When you said you got pride in yourself, that's the golden word, yourself. Do you? be the best example. Like, for example, when I was a promoter and I put on ladies' nights, I was very aware of the bad reputation that black men have with paying money. So I sought to be the best example I can be. So when I would pay the performers, I made sure I paid them in full and on time. So if there's any criticism about black businessmen, they couldn't point to me and say, yeah, Ron is in that. So in terms of you being bothered about what people think, right, just be the best example. So if you're bothered about people saying, oh, them black guys, they only go for ducks, someone could say, yeah, but not with King Richez. Not with King Richez. So that's the best you can do. Don't let, I mean, at the end of the day, it's your hang up. Your feelings about the perception the world have on us is your hang up. That's really it. So you can't go through life trying to please other people at the expense of your own happiness. So do you and be the best example. Okay. Point number 4, which I want to end on, regarding black men, black women. Now let's put aside who has a preference with what and whatever. Let's put that to one side. Something that a lot of people do not want to talk about, and they refuse to acknowledge this because it puts onus on black women, and there's a sensitivity with offending women. The great 11th commandment, thou shalt not criticize a woman. Not every black man can get a black woman. There's a multitude of black women who would not give a number of black men a time of the day. Maybe because they're not tall enough, maybe their wallet is not fat enough, whatever the case is. Maybe the checklist that these black women have, a lot of black guys don't meet that checklist, so they wouldn't give them the time of the day. So what are they to do? Because as you rightfully pointed out, most non-black women are not into black guys. So if you've got a black man that can't get a black woman, and the only woman who's going to accept him is a woman that me or you wouldn't go for, and remember, not every guy can get an 8, 9 or 10, surely he's entitled to some kind of happiness, right? So what's the choice? Jerk off for the rest of your life by yourself, or go with a duck? As much as I wouldn't want to be him with a duck, neither would you. I think, well, just be happy for the man, you know. I know it bothers you about the public perception, but you need to get over that and be the best example for yourself. You just can't tell people who they should and shouldn't be attracted to. Okay, so there we go. You know, as I said, your ability doesn't represent other people's ability. My ability at 57 years old, I'm physically fitter than the average person. You'll get a demonstration of this at the end of this video. Even though, even at this age, I've got abilities that the average person cannot do. But that doesn't mean a man who's not even half my age, who's in his early 20s, should be able to do what I can do physically. You catch my point. So good for you that you could get a bad chick. Good for me that I can get the chicks that I would like, but it doesn't apply to everybody else. Okay, thank you very much. Right, I gotta go. It's getting kind of dark as well.